We think we let ourselves grieve for about a day.
Yeah.
And then it was that realization of, okay, what are we going to do to help him? And it has been 14 years of therapeutic visits, clinical drug trials, testing.
With parenting, there's no manual. So someone throws a special needs child into the mix, you're like, what do I do?
Most of the parents that are involved in this world come from a background having little to no knowledge of this world. They receive a diagnosis for their child and they're plopped into a brand new world. And you can't do that on your own.
From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, it is busy. You're trying to push your child to be more independent, do more things on his own, but then there's still elements that for his own safety or just because he can't physically do it, you are doing it for him.
Special needs parents take care of themselves last. Just like we will take care of our children and then we don't get our teeth cleaned or we don't go to the doctor and then we have some health issue. So special needs parents are weary, they're sleep deprived, and they haven't probably been to a doctor in a long time.
He in his early days, required a lot of nursing care, hospital care, and I absolutely was not able to work for the first 3 years of his life. So when we moved to Atlanta, I just really felt alone.
Many people don't realize that the divorce rate among special needs families is about 80% because the financial strain of raising a child with a disability is much bigger. The emotional strain is much bigger.
So, as a parent with a child with special needs, you don't want to let go. You want to be that protector and that constant protector.
It's different. The world isn't built around the way Samuel's made. So you have to protect him and you have to look out for him.
My mom had been my main support because I didn't trust anybody to keep him, because when he came home on oxygen, he had a feeding tube, he had all of these things, and I have very limited help in regards to the non-custodial parent.
Gaining the trust of the parents can sometimes be even harder because a lot of these parents are thinking, I am the advocate. I'm the only advocate my child has. So, and even the institutions that are created to help my child aren't working.
There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of personal sacrifice with your career goals or aspirations or what you thought your life might look like, what you thought the life for your child would look like, because you're not only grieving like the present, you do have to grieve what you thought the future would look like while your friends' children are graduating high school, going to college, all of these very routine, typical types of things. Your son is still watching Thomas videos or Power Rangers.
It's not easy getting assistance for special needs. You have to meet all these requirements and you have to go through a lot of red tape. And a lot of times you get told no more than you get told yes.
When you're the mom and you have to go and you got to get toilet paper and laundry soap and your child throws a fit, I'm sure other people look at them and go, why doesn't she just take that child out? Well, she can't.
The large part of the community doesn't realize, and what a lot of people don't talk about, and you don't hear news stories about, is the fact that once they lose their school support, they literally go from one day to the next on their birthday, losing all of their support. One of the hardest parts, I think, is just having to hear those stories of families being so desperate and not knowing where to turn, and not knowing where to go for those resources, and not knowing how to get a break or how to even get themselves out of the hole that literally happens on their kid's 22nd birthday.
We don't get to come up for air very often. Guilt can come up. The desire to want to run away, the desire to hide, the desire to panic can all come up.
This is essentially a 24-hour job.
Parents are financially strapped. Even people that have a good income, they have to pay for therapies and sometimes medical equipment, medications, doctor's visits, psychologists, all that stuff. So even if you have a good living, it takes a lot of finances.
We don't get a lot of time of dating. You know, everybody says, oh, you have to keep dating. And it's like, yeah, okay. Part of the blessing of having a special needs child is you have to learn very quickly that you're not the center of the world. You just do. So you have to learn very quickly if you're going to help your child is, well, we got to put them before my own needs.
Because so many parents get very wrapped up, their identity gets wrapped up in their child's disability. They become the 24/7 caregiver of the child. They become the advocate, they become the nurse, the counselor. And so especially for families that have significant disabilities, then it just becomes more difficult when the world around you is not created for that population.